Greetings, friends. It's Colrain or Colrain Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, and I am so honored to be here today filming this kind of unconventional reading. So I'm going to figure out somewhere on the screen to put this up, but this is kind of a collaboration with my good friend Lexi of Light Wands. If you have not seen her tarot work, I highly recommend, because she does something that not a lot of people in the tarot community are doing, which is supporting your ability to read for yourself, to develop your own personal practice. And I consider Lexi to be a very influential mentor and just spirit in my life. And I have so much infinite gratitude for her. So we're going to be using a spread, like I said, somewhere on the screen, it should be here, that was created by Lexi of Light Wands. And this spread is called Burn. So this is kind of like her series of tarot without context. And so I just want to get right into it, not over-explain anything. And these are your pile selections today. Your pathways for the reading. We have the gold sheen obsidian egg, and it may get kind of dark through this reading, actually, because the sun's going down, so hopefully you'll be able to see everything, and it should add to the ambiance. And here, group 2 is, or path 2 is this fire opal, and group 3 is a fire agate or snake agate. I will see you in your group. Greetings, group 1. If you selected this gold sheen obsidian, this is your reading. And since we are doing the burn spread, I'm just starting with a nice smoke cleanse to bring in a space for your guides, cleanse out any old energy, and we will begin. Just starting with cleansing your deck. The deck that I'm going to be using for all the readings today. This is the Blood Moon Tarot by Sam Gee, or Sam Gay. I'm not sure how to say their name. Another artist I respect. And we're going to get started. So the first card in this spread is wood. I just want one card, Spirit. Have you been having trouble getting focused, group 1? Or feeling like you're actually connecting and tapping in? Okay. I'm going to leave them face down for now. I'm going to talk a little bit about obsidian too while I'm shuffling. We're going to get card 2 for fire. What's actually caught. The obsidian 3 is ash. Sorry. Finding it hard to multitask. Maybe you're trying to multitask a little bit. The gold sheen obsidian allows us to spread our light for the injury. And it also gives us still groundedness through strength and protection. And it comes from the lava, like something that comes deep from within the earth, kind of like when the earth expresses its wounds, when the earth expresses its core, its passion. So there's something here about you getting into the core of your feelings, of your experiences, of your own passions, grounding yourself deep into your experience, being able to be witness to your experience. And this final card here is the aftermath. And my rabbit's wanting to be here for your reading too. Hey! Okay. So, the wood. What's being burned? The King of Dreams. Your mind, your perspective, the way you're sharing. I'm seeing in this card in particular, though, this is representing the things that have been put out to burn is something that's dry. The King of Dreams is something that's like air, ready to ignite, to inspire, to fuel the fire. This is about links, about connections as well. Maybe you're releasing a lot of karmic connections, I'm hearing, or energetic cords and ties. With the moth too, there's something about the perspective. It's like you're exhausting yourself. Maybe you've been doing a lot of ego work, because it's in this more masculine energy too. It's like releasing stories of patriarchy, stories of like mental domination in connections rather than compassionate narratives. The wood is also something that we've grown, right? It's something that connects us to the trees. It connects us to the place that we've come from. Sometimes we have to prune the forest naturally. And this is what brings us to the King of Dreams. This awareness of things that we've outgrown. These little buddies over here, reminding you of maybe the softness and the love that's involved in this wood that's been put up for, it's almost like a sacrifice. The Five of Honey is in the position of fire, and it's in the reverse. And I'm seeing this as being going through a time of lack or a time of isolation, a time of loss that's revealing how things are transforming, how things are changing. It's like rot in the reverse. It's like so many things just kind of naturally breaking down. This may be like physical items in your life too, like reaching their point of like they've been used up. Having to replace old items or repair old items too. This is the fire, maybe cleansing your life, helping to cleanse out old or stagnant emotions related to these beliefs that need to transform. The third card here is the ash. What's revealed once this fire has come through, once this lack has brought its way into our life. Once, I feel like for some of you, this is like an excess starting to rot. Like when we have too much of something, it begins to rot around us and shows us where we need to be a little more in tune with our environment, in tune with what we have around us, what we've cultivated. It's almost like I'm thinking about how if somebody has a farm, and on the farm they, have this orchard, right? And they have this crop. And if they hoard unnecessarily a lot of their harvest, the other people in the town may go hungry while we have things rotting in the orchard out of greed. So I don't know if that's part of the fire, like realizing your own greed. Something related to connections where we're not giving the way we could. Okay, the ash, the devil. This is what shows up after the fire. And even here, there's this rotting stuff going on around. This is facing oneself, doing shadow work, seeing where we've even demonized ourselves or put ourselves in limiting circumstances or isolating circumstances. And again, the butterfly, the moth, is coming forward as a motif, as a symbol of transformation. The key in the mirror The key on the butterfly. The key to this is maybe movement. I'm thinking about how butterflies are also symbols of migration as well as transformation. And a soul or a spirit finding healing, finding new life. And this takes us to card 4, the injury. We have the Knight of Skins in the reverse, which is very literal fire. So the injury is not being able to be confident, not being able to use our own willpower, to take ourselves forward, to share passions, beliefs, philosophies, feeling censored by the judgment of others, the judgment of self, realizing all these places where we may have put stock into others' beliefs and the power that others may hold over us was actually our power all along. The devil is often talking about the self, selfishness, like the ways that we use our personal power as well, or give our personal power away. It's talking about overcoming the structures and the systems that we live within as human beings, and that's a sense of self in a way as well, like what we're inhabiting within our human body, within our human life. And so this is being able to realize that we may have been injured in this process of being a human. That our psyche takes on psychic damage through maybe systems of lack, maybe systems where toxic relationships are encouraged or unchecked. There's a lot of feeling like we have to rise from the place of being a victim, and I like that that's in the ashes position as well. Okay, and finally we have the aftermath. I feel like your guides are wanting me to go back and touch on the injury a little bit more through this aftermath card. We have another reversed court card. We have the Queen of Songs, so this is water energy. And it feels like the aftermath of this is feeling like you're almost drowning in the emotions and unable to bring forward maybe a sense of trust, a sense of being able to share your story, share what you're feeling, what you've been through, feeling maybe even tired and depleted from what feels like being put through this experience of seeing your own worst side but not being able to make sense of it, feeling trapped in the experience of being a victim. The injury here is interesting because the Knight of Skins in the reverse, it feels like the injury is to, I almost see this person lashing out at others or unnecessarily recreating the harm that they've been through and not knowing how to stop engaging in those cycles of harm. So it's like the injury comes on from not wanting to hurt those around you or hurt yourself, to get burned, to be that torchbearer in a negative way, or in an antisocial way. And antisocial is a little different than what you might think it is. It's not just not wanting to socialize, it's also like antisocial behavior can be like undermining others, cheating on things, like kind of trying to get the upper hand or seeing others as like competition, but in a way that's like extreme. The aftermath of this being also recognizing that you have more spiritual capacity, more spiritual potential than you've been allowing yourself for quite some time. That you can connect with others in a meaningful way, because that's kind of where we started with this wood. It's like coming from a place of wanting to connect and wanting to master connection. Experience understanding of self and others. But I think this fire has come through to show you where your power, it's time to reclaim it so that you can also teach others how to reclaim it. I think it's just undoing this narrative within that is giving into these. And I think for you, subliminals would be a really great thing to engage with. And to close your reading, I'm going to give you an oracle card that's just going to represent how you might process this in another unique way. Since this was kind of an unconventional spread, I really liked how it turned out though. And we have here the blue kyanite and honeysuckle, sword of truth. And this is water and air, so reaffirming air and water are important elements for you right now. And these may be, helping to cultivate your inner fire with the air, as well as calm down and soothe from the effects of injury. And this is resulting in psychic sight, calling on spirit, the perspective outside of the ego. Freedom, warrior of light, stop holding yourself back. Freedom, because the devil represents finding freedom, being able to create freedom through groundedness, through acceptance and reflection, through looking away from the mirror, from not getting so obsessed with the self that we can't move on from our self-pity, move on from those disruptive self-hating narratives. Sword of truth. I'm also feeling like Archangel Michael wants to make an appearance here and remind you that he's a powerful spirit that you can work with as you're traversing into balancing your psychic senses, becoming more emotionally sensitive with yourself and with others, and overcoming these ways that you've taken on anger or taken on reactiveness as a result of an injury, an emotional injury, a societal injury is what it feels like. And you can also stop holding yourself back through these narratives that you're unconsciously accepting around success, around connection. That is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 1. If you would like a personal reading, I have that listed in the description box below. For other reading policies and ethics, please visit my website as well. And otherwise, I want to thank every being that has come together with us for this beautiful reading today. And I will see you in another reading, my friend. Bye. Greetings, my beautiful path or group 2 with the, let's see if it'll focus on your stone, with the lovely fire opal you have here. Energizing, responsible, attuned to miraculous forces. I want to put a little disclaimer. I forgot to do this at the beginning of group 1, but this is a general reading. I'm sure if you're here, you know that by now. But I do have to remind you of it. So, this is a general reading. It's going to have bits that resonate. That's why you're here. And it should fit pretty well. If not, then there are other groups or other readings. So, we're going to start here with the theme of the burn. And we're going to burn some rosemary with some rose. And just clear out the energy of the past reading. Clear out the energy of your day, I'm hearing from your guides. We're going to clear this deck as well. And prep it for our reading today. So, group 2. Burn. The first card is wood. I'm going to pull your space up. The second one is fire. The third one is ash. Fourth is injury. And fifth is aftermath. And today I am using the Blood Moon Tarot by Sam Gay. I don't know how to say their name. Love their work though. Okay. Looks like we're just going right into the wounding here today. So for some of you, I'm just feeling like this is talking about someone in your life who I guess they may either ignore you, like your emotions, or they may put you into an energy where you feel like left out. Okay, but we're going to go into what these mean because I don't want that person to take over this reading. Okay. But for a majority of you, that's what you're dealing with, and that's what you're wondering about. So the wood is the Hermit in the reverse. And I like how this is showing kind of a shadowed, sprite-like figure. I think the low light is making it hard for my camera to focus on things, so I apologize. I'm going to keep as much of an eye on it as I can. But they're sitting on this egg that is like a very fragile symbol of potential and growth. And now it feels like this wood, this is the origin, the thing that's been sacrificed or put into the fire that's been potentially leading to the burning. Something sensitive within yourself. Maybe this was a dream that you had, and that's why I was picking up on this person that kind of puts you down, makes you feel a little small or insignificant. And this fire here is the Emperor, so this is talking about our, again, and there's actually 2 cards that came out for here, so let's see what's behind here. The 5 of Songs, so this is hiding this emotional pain, this feeling of loss, or feeling like our tools aren't working for us, like our means of creating what we want are interrupted or disrupted. And right here in the Emperor card, I really hope it'll focus on the deeper details on the card. But there's an acorn here underneath the hands, underneath the foundation of this castle. Okay, you can see a little bit better. And this person is holding on to the base of their creation, the root of their creation. And I think it's interesting that this is covering up this sadness over the tool. So there may be some, with the Hermit and the Emperor, it's like some kind of struggle, some kind of challenge, some kind of tribulation or trial that we are facing at a soul level, that you're facing at a soul level. where the fire has come through to show you, I'm hearing from the guides, like a weak grip that you have on a dream, but it's still a grip nevertheless. This vision of yourself as a creator, this, even the Emperor I see is a willingness to sacrifice these other visions of self that are ego-driven, that are competition-based, that are based in conflict, that we choose to omit from our vision of our future, from the ways that we want to create, and also mature enough to be able to be in conversation with spirit and to be creating not out of what we think is best for the world, but what we feel is needed right now, amongst ourselves, amongst the people that we're around. The ash that comes from this fire in your life, maybe this sense of emotional doubt, wondering how things are going to work out, wondering if you're going to have the means that you need to grow this seed, to nurture the roots, to provide the environment that's proper for this thing. What settles after this fire comes through is the Page of Songs in the reverse. And this is a water energy. This shows somebody who's being kind to something growing. I'm going to actually put this upright so you can see a little bit better what's happening in this card. There's a swirl, this ammonite, and then this swirl over the third eye of the person, and it's like something spiritual is happening based on physical engagement, physical connection. And it feels like this is something that you're seeking because it's in the reverse. And in the wake of this challenge, you're looking to connect not only with your own ability to dream, your own ability to receive creative inspiration, that poetic justice I'm hearing, the ability to express based on these deeper, darker things that you've had to sacrifice, these things that you've had to let go of in order to create. You're seeking to define them. The page is all about our subconscious exploration, being able to be light, to be a student again, to step out even when things are uncertain. And here, number 4, the injury is justice. This is what I was saying with poetic justice. It's like feeling like things haven't equaled out or balanced out. Our passion, our ability to touch and channel through the miraculous, feels like it's still being picked apart by our fears, by the doubts, by logistics of manifesting. But the Justice card here, I know it's dark, but there's a heart, an anatomical heart on the back of this figure, and swallows all around. And the swallows represent being able to use our voice, and these lots of bird creatures around this figure. The injury being justice may be that you feel like justice hasn't been on your side, or you feel like maybe kind of I'm hearing that there's slim pickings, but also that people have been picking on you. Like you end up with the short end of the stick. And that is also a belief that I want to point out, that we can either feed it, like feeding the fire, throw another one of these self-reflective logs on the fire, put another one of these darkened, fragile, vulnerable aspects of ourselves out to be burned. Or we can face the belief and recognize that it's a belief. That if we want to maybe carve out or create our own justice, we may have to reach back to where that heart is, bring it back underneath, reconnect with it, see the heart as a seed, something that has to go back into a dark place in order to actually start to create its own light again. And that's really what you're doing when you're co-creating with life. And you're daring to dream. You're meeting a need that is here on the earth plane. And in order to do that, we have to feel like justice is on our side, or that we have access to it, that we're deserving of justice, that we're deserving of something to rule in our favor. And not even just rule in our favor, but that there are going to be people that we can trust, that there are going to be systems that we can either create or that we can seek out, that are emerging, that are going to have justice in mind. The Ace of Honey, the aftermath, is in reverse to show that the aftermath is still unfolding and maybe even being recognized. So this is showing that there's a potential, again, the seed, the egg, the seed. It's an important subconscious symbol for you right now, that if you don't take any other bit from this reading and you've gotten this far, that's an important symbol for you in your life that you should sit with. Recognize where maybe it's being repeated to you throughout your life. What is the seed? What needs nurturing? What needs space to expand, to be explored, to grow? Because the Ace of Honey talks about an earth seed. It talks about something, and this is like a pomegranate full of seeds and dripping with honey. Something that's been invested in by this bee that represents cooperation, collaboration, provision for the future. The aftermath of this fire, of facing these limitations or these fears that you may have to creating what you need to create, is actually the manifestation, the beginning, the opportunity to actually plant the seed, to get things going, to stop procrastinating and actually do it. My nose is itching so much because it feels like your guides are really present. They're really wanting you to see that you've earned your stripes, like the bee, and that you're ready to start going in on this. And it's not to say that these fears, that these concerns about the foundation, about how, are going to go away. But the more that you lean into the feeling of why you want to do it, the less that the submersion into the fire or into the flame is going to feel so daunting, because everybody takes on a challenge in their life, in the path that we choose to walk. It's a matter of if that challenge is something that you love facing, that you feel like you are excited to meet that challenge, that it's stimulating enough and not feeling like it's too difficult, and knowing that you don't have to go it alone. And I think that's what this Justice card is also highlighting, that the injury is maybe feeling like we're alone, but I'm imagining that maybe this person can't see that there are all these birds, like spirit birds around them, guiding them and bringing them into where they need to be at. Hey group 2, I'm adding a little post filming segment that I'm gonna chop in somewhere before my outro for you. But I realized I did not give you an oracle card like I gave the other groups. So if you have a little intention you want to put in for whatever this may be, to give you a final little message, and I don't remember fully what happened in your reading, so we'll see how this lines up. You're just getting a little bonus message. And you've received the secret garden, sacred space. And this is earth and water, so a lot of grounding energy. And this says, cultivate your space, inner beauty, and self-care. This is an invitation from, I feel like especially a lot of you, your like earth elemental guides, or like fae spirit guides, even ancestors as well, I would consider to be like more earth-based guides. This is an invitation from them to take better care of yourself, like physically meeting your needs, as well as taking the time to ground yourself. And what I mean by grounding yourself, I know this is kind of an overused spiritual term, but grounding yourself is also about asking yourself, how do I feel right now? Like going into the sensation, the sensuality of experience, and even appreciating the things around you, being more present with the people around you, with even your pets, with your plants, taking kind of stock of your environment. Something that the guides are bringing to my attention at this moment is something that I did this last week. Like, I really needed to spend time with a certain spirit guide I've been working with, and she had shown me that I needed to cleanse my space, like actually go and like dust and do like kind of the deeper cleaning stuff that we don't do in our weekly cleanups or in our monthly cleanups or in our daily cleanups. And yeah, I just feel like maybe for some of you it's time to like dust the old, even reorganize things. This is like giving yourself a base level to work from that shows yourself that you love yourself, that you care about yourself, and that you are making your space reflect the function that you want it to serve for you, and the ways that you want to be able to operate within your own energy. So, you know, everybody's level of hygiene, everybody's level of clean, everybody's level of organized is going to be different and tailored to their own level of, like, relationship to self. So, you know, consider that, but definitely remember that your environment is there for you to cultivate and to keep as wild or as pruned and managed as is beneficial to you. As well, inner beauty is also representing that this is taking the time to be able to be in the energy, the head space, the heart space, to feel and recognize and express beauty as what it means to you. And not what you think other people would want or benefit from by being in your presence. This is like true, genuine, like, I think that all beauty really comes from a place of love and self-respect and mindful appreciation. So yeah, let's go to the outro. This is all I'm feeling for you, Group 2. I want to thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this reading, for your guides, for every other being in this universe who has brought us into connection for this reading today. If you are interested in a personal reading, I have those in the description box below at my website. And I will see you again in another video, my friend. Bye. Greetings, Group 3, Path 3. Those of you that were drawn to this fire or snake agate. It's a very cool piece because you can see it like shows the light through. I'm going to leave this right here and we're going to smoke cleanse and release any energy that you are carrying that's obstructing you from the energy that's needing to be present in this reading, that's needing to meet you where you're at right now. And I got a message last night that I'm feeling like is maybe relevant for you today. And we'll see if that comes up. So we're using this spread, burn spread. If you are interested in my policies and ethics around reading, please feel free to visit my website. That is also where you can book a personal reading. As well, the policies that I have around general readings are that this is a general reading. It is meant to resonate with a group of folks, so please be present with yourself and understand what messages are for you and which ones are maybe meant for other members of the group. So we're getting the final card. This is the aftermath. Beautiful. Okay, so group 3. I'm going to start with the fact that the fire agate, the snake skin agate, is about release and transformation, and also about protection. I'm seeing the fire for you rather than being something that's entirely catharsis, that's entirely destructive. It's something where we can protect ourselves through the act of acknowledgement, through the act of release. And that can be a really painful thing in some ways. So the first card here that you have is wood. And this one is represented by the 9 of Dreams. And so essentially, I feel like for some of you, this is a type of breakdown, a type of facing trauma. And that's actually the message that I was getting last night. So for some of you, this is in particular like a medical trauma of some kind, feeling like the body is out of control. Or maybe for others, this is a mental health trauma that has to do with like seeking medical care, feeling like the mind is out of control, and nobody understands where we're coming from, kind of feeling isolated and also surrounded by this mental health crisis, or even like a spiritual crisis. So for some of you, if you're not really vibing with the experience of calling this or labeling this a health crisis of any kind, it can also be that this is like an identity crisis, just feeling like, we're lost, or like the symptoms that we're facing, because regardless of what we're going to call it, symptoms are symptoms. Whatever symptoms are coming up or were coming up in the past were needing to be released and needing to be addressed. And this is talking about also with the hands, with the eyes on the hands. It's like needing to see through the wisdom of our environment, the wisdom of our embodiment, the wisdom of mortality as well, visceral experience, facing our shadows, our fears. Okay, I could go on. Number 2 is the fire. What actually came through and initiated release, initiated protection from these afflictions. We have, for some of you, this is meditation. Being able to channel our energy instead of pushing it back. This person's like kind of pushing into themselves, like trapped. Whereas this is like, it's a container for flow. 6 of Songs. Not having to be stuck in the past, because this can be about the past. It's like in the reversed position, it's actually being able to release the past. This is also maybe even being able to admit to others in our life hey, this is a trauma I went through. This is something that's behind the responses that I've been showcasing through my behavior, or the experiences that I've been going through. It's like being able to meet others as well and reach out for support. The fire here being something that strengthens us to feel not alone, because the fire can also be a meeting place, a place of healing through philosophical sharing, through creative means. If you haven't begun a creative journey for self-expression, this is your guidance giving you a very clear indication that that will help if you've been facing these traumas, if you've experienced bodily dysfunction, mental dysfunction, things that are hindering your quality of life and your relationship with yourself. Creativity is really going to be an important catalyst for you. The sun here being the ash, this is representing that when that fire of connection settles, you're left feeling warm. You're left feeling like you have an inner light, something that you can go off of, and that there isn't just darkness that's found within you. The sunflower is even representing that you can turn your face towards more optimistic hope for your future, that you can reconnect again with that inner child. And specifically, if this is like medical trauma, this may even be medical trauma that has to do with you in your youth, in your childhood, something that you've been dedicated to overcoming. Even like if this is mental health trauma, this is like childhood trauma that we're now finding a remedy to, because the honey is even involved in this sun card. Honey being like in its healing aspect here. The sun is like about that inner alchemy of the past and being able to find richness and healing to draw from. Also, the sun is about expressing ourselves, creativity and performance, connection and identity as well. So for some of you, if this was talking about identity crisis, this is about like reconnecting with the self through vulnerability, through sharing, through reconnecting with the inner light, the wisdom of the body as well, because I'm seeing this like bursting forth from this person's like physical body. Reconnecting with what life means to you, what you've been searching for. Being able to appreciate your body too. If this is talking about medical stuff, being able to appreciate your body's ability to heal. Working with the limitations and accepting the limitations of our body, of our form when we do age, as we do get older. There's something about the aging process coming in with your group as well. So here, number 4, the injury is the 8 of songs. So going back to the aspect of fire that's maybe a little bit more dangerous, we're seeing the 8 of songs is in the reverse, showing that there has been an injury to how we see ourselves, to how comfortable or confident we are going into the emotions, even separating from things, feeling like everything's meant to leave. I feel like is coming through a belief from someone in here. It's like a discomfort in letting go. Maybe you have an anxious attachment to something or someone. And if that doesn't resonate, this could be that the injury is like a literal injury to feeling safe, like being attached to the body, being attached to living and being present with life. For a lot of you, I'm feeling like meditation and breathwork keep coming forward, because this is going to give you a container for self-reflection, for maybe even connecting with others who practice meditation. For protecting oneself using mantra. And my light just flickered. I don't know if you caught that. But I'm definitely feeling like this is also going to help give you some awareness of maybe part of those traumas, how they've helped you in some ways to be able to be a little fearless, or face certain things that other people may have trouble approaching, so that you may be somebody who's like a trauma counselor, or I'm seeing someone who's doing like humanitarian work where you're helping with like crisis management, or you're talking with even just friends about like kind of the darker topics, like not shying away from dealing with things like addictions and abuse and these things that really need to not continue being taboo, but they shouldn't be normalized, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's like the injury is actually helping you to see yourself clearly as someone who's resilient. And not just that, like seeing your own strength as well, seeing your own capacity to close out old cycles, to not be controlled by what you feel you should do. Because I feel like for some of you, these results that had to be released were because of beliefs around, like that typical narrative, like, and I just saw 12:12 on the timer, but that typical narrative of like, if you have to go get, mental health or help or go to therapy, you're mentally weak. Like these kind of like limiting paradigms that are in essence antiquated, but also there's a sense of like being able to create alternative pathways where you felt like you didn't have access to care that was proper for you, with that like added layer of like not being able to like meet your needs when you did seek out support in some ways. So this fire card is like dual, like teaching yourself how to make the connections that are actually going to benefit you. And so a lot of you I'm seeing like have created alternative forms of healing, alternative methods of facing difficulties. Like I'm seeing in my mind's eye somebody leading a course of, for example, like rock climbing or something, where it's like this is actually a therapy in the way that you're approaching it, whereas other people might just see it as an outdoor activity. Does that make sense? So there's something about healing others through this injury as well, and like seeing yourself in your purpose based on this. The aftermath of this entire experience here is the 10 of Dreams. And this is like a true acceptance of release. I feel like it's a pretty self-explanatory card. This would be like the 10 of Air, 10 of Swords. And this is like getting new sight, being able to open the third eye, being able to have compassion for yourself, have compassion for others, and not blame the problem on the people, but recognize these are phenomena that we're all feeding into, that we're making a choice to engage with and perpetuate. And so you're like really separating the problem from the people in your life, and also like establishing new avenues of experience where you can, instead of waiting for the people around you or the systems around you to do differently, you're making opportunities for yourself where there weren't any, because you're seeing yourself differently. There's something about perspective, because I'm even seeing this like ring of eyes, like you're being able to like put your eyes like in another person's eyes, but I'm seeing that as like being in another person's shoes, essentially. And this is always a card about release, about surrender, and letting go of these mental thoughts and mental chaos that's keeping us from being able to transform. Okay, I'm going to give you an oracle card, group 3. And this may be vague, this may be very direct and specific, so if you have a specific concern or an area of life you want this to address. We have petalite, cosmic downloads with air and water. So a psychic card, and we have a lot of air and water going on in here. So higher heart healing, see the bigger picture. Working like Reiki on the higher heart chakra, which is in between the throat and the heart. Working with the color aquamarine, like a seafoam green color, as well as that light pink that's going on in this card. Seeing the bigger picture. I feel like that's a really great affirmation of what this aftermath card is trying to show, that you're being able to zoom out from the trauma itself and see a little bit more about what this informs for you on your story and your journey. Ooh, and my ear's ringing. So, and that's my left ear. So it's just definitely an invitation from your higher self, from your guides, to really tap into that spiritual perspective, and be able to detach from programming that isn't honoring who you are. And that is all I have for you, my beautiful third group. Thank you so much for the healing work, the transformation work, the alchemy that you're doing on behalf of the collective. As well, if you are interested in a personal reading, like I mentioned, I have that at the website in my description. Otherwise, I want to thank every being that came together and provided us a space and an energy to connect with the guides of wisdom, compassion, truth, and alignment for this reading today. I will see you in another video, my friend. I'm sending you so much love.